Hello fellow anime geeks, welcome to the last of my coverage of 2020 winter in preparation for 2020 spring. To tell the truth, this is actually going to be a top 5 sort of thing, but when I look back at everything that I actually completed this season, there were really just 2 anime I actually wanted to recommend to you guys. And they are in 2 completely different genres. In the feel-good category, Somali created a distinct mood, had a strong, well-developed storyline, and the ending made me ugly One Piece cry, but I didn't feel as strong a connection to the characters as when I watched, say, Usagi Drop. BOFURI and Uchitama mixed comedy and slice of life in 2 unique settings. BOFURI was the simple and fun look at VR MMORPG game mechanics, and Uchitama personified dogs and cats for a version of Life of Pets only an anime could pull off. OSHI Budokan and Oda Cinnamon made me laugh with their outrageous settings, and the former even got a little heartwarming at times. But the feel-good anime that really stole the show for me this season was a shounen set in the fashion industry, Runway de WARATTE. Runway is a simple story about achieving your dreams against all odds, but every aspect of the story is so well crafted I'm made to feel I'm watching something completely unique. And that's because Inoya-sensei seems to have accomplished a rare feat. A focused, well-paced story wherein the characters are free to live, breathe, and move of their own accord. Their situations and efforts are interesting, and there's no need to add any misunderstandings, unrealistic antagonists, or melodramatic plot twists. I loved watching our male protagonist take responsibility for his family and make that align with his passion. Our female protagonist makes up for her small stature with the gumption to fight against an industry standard to accomplish her goals. And the interactions between them and their circles of relationships are real. Again, no misunderstandings, no melodrama. Instead, these characters support each other and act like real, decent people. The only other anime I've seen pull off such a realistic portrayal of interactions between complex characters is Kono to Tomare. As far as plotline, this story follows the shounen setback and growth format, complete with a big showdown at the end. Only the final battle was so realistic, I found myself rooting for the competition. I actually found myself hoping our protagonist wouldn't win. I make another comparison here. My investment in the competition and the world as a whole portrayed in this anime is equal to my strange obsession for the world of Karuta upon my first encounter with Chihaya Furu. Okay, let's move on to the dark and depressing. 22/7 successfully mixed darkness and mystery with the sweet human drama of a pop idol group. Don't ask. Darwin's Game had my heart racing every week. KYOKUFURI started off promising with strong characters and brilliant exposition, but the pacing really left something to be desired. In the whole season, our protagonist solved 3 cases, with the last one moving so slow, it actually took up 9 of the 12 episodes. I really looked forward to Thursdays because of Hanako-kun's gorgeous art and unique atmosphere. In fact, this was almost a top 3 video. But Hanako-kun's story seems too big for a 12-episode release. As a consequence, I didn't get a full storyline, some plot points were disjointed, and I have more questions upon completion than when I first started watching. So, in my opinion, only one anime was able to really pull off a completely unique concept this season: ID Invaded. Now, before delving into why I think ID Invaded succeeded, I feel obligated to give you this disclaimer. If you're looking for jaw-dropping beautiful art, look somewhere else. I would have loved to have seen some of the crazy subconscious worlds in this story portrayed in more detail. But this anime is more of a thought experiment. The unique premise carries it, and it carries us through a satisfying, complete storyline. In this way, ID Invaded pulls off a strange genre combination that I call fantasy sci-fi psychological thriller. Think Minority Report meets Inception. Without spoiling his brilliant way of introducing the audience into the world and the well-directed exposition and plot development, I will tell you that the story centers around a futuristic fantasy technology. There are individual cases that are connected in a narrative led by our protagonist, and each one is significant to the resolution, which is present at the end of this anime. And ID Invaded also manages to integrate the following topics in a smart way: criminal profiling, telepathic connections, moral ambiguity, time dilation, observation-induced change, revenge. The rewatch value on this is insane, and you probably will need to rewatch it to understand the complicated ending that weaves all of the plot points together to culminate in a big, confusing chase scene. Holding all of this together is our compelling protagonist. He isn't the typical 2D anime character with a good moral foundation who just wants to do his best. He's tortured and commits some of that moral ambiguity I mentioned, but he's also the reason why I was drawn into this storyline. Now, he is an anti-hero, so you may not agree with his morality, but you will definitely understand it. I was wholly on his side throughout this story, despite my personal feelings about some of his actions. Finally, I have to mention the music. What ID Invaded lacked in art, it made up for in perfectly matched intro, ending, and background music. The intro song by Soul and the ending by Miyabi perfectly matched the cool and moody tone of this show. And the insert songs at certain points in the plot by the same artist as the ending really highlighted those same plot points and drove their importance home. Alright, these were the 2 anime I thought were worthwhile from this 2020 winter season. I hope this helped, and I'll catch you guys next week with my coverage on 2020 spring.